Welcome back, Principles of Management. Here we are. This is Mr. Argueta. It is week number 3 in our 8-week semester. Wanted to get with you. I apologize I didn't get a video out yesterday. We were observing the Martin Luther King holiday, so I was not in the office, but I wanted to get this video out as soon as possible. Had class this morning, so this is the first time I get to sit down in my office and sort of put this together. But I had a few things for you. Wanted to congratulate you on a job well done for last week. When I look back at your lesson, week number 2, here we go. And our discussion post seems to be very well done. For some of you, and it's kind of silly to talk about it now, but this is where my video was updated, 15 replies. So there's a lot of people who have found it. Some of you are still looking and can find it, but I think you might have gotten to it finally. But I read through all of these comments. They are really helpful to see if you guys are understanding what's going on in the class and what's happening. And then this week I would read through your comments and take a look at what your comments were. And of course, I've commented on some of yours. If you want to look at some of my posts or past comments, go to discussion tab and all the discussions will be there. Please don't get confused. Don't worry about these other ones. They are not up yet. They will come up as we go on through the semester. This week, let me just say also, I've gotten a couple of people who have requested extensions. I do not give extensions unless there are very, very specific circumstances around them. Typically, 1 week is not going to make that big of a difference to you in your overall grade. It might look like that now because we are, just getting started, but as more and more assignments come up, the grade will keep on balancing itself out. So don't get too worried about it. Just move on to the next week if you were unfortunate to not be able to complete one of your assignments from last week. All right, so this week, week number 3, we're doing chapters 5 and 6, of course, and we're doing the weekly discussion, which deals with a SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis are analysis or a tool used to analyze a business. And this video will basically talk a little bit about it. After you watch the video, I want you to conduct a SWOT analysis. And I pulled up one from Starbucks. It doesn't have to look like this. Some people make it look like boxes. Others, do it in different ways. But this is a simple way. So a SWOT analysis really examines, the benefits, the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats of a certain company. In this case that I pulled up, this SWOT analysis has been done on Starbucks. Now, most of us are familiar with Starbucks. I, unfortunately, am very familiar with Starbucks because I drink their coffee. For anybody who is a coffee drinker, let's see if we can get it in focus there. Pike Place. That's what I drink. I just had a cup about an hour ago. We'll be having my second cup in a little bit. So anyhow, here's some of the strengths that Starbucks has. And you probably can just think about some of this stuff and come up without doing a lot of deep research. Starbucks has the #1 specialty coffee retailer in the world, the most marketable shares. They hold the most market share and strong brand recognition, of course. Its profitability continues to rise. Starbucks experience provides a comfortable ambiance, so you like going to their places. The company, I apologize. The company is known for treating its management and employees well. And they expanded into food offerings now. So Starbucks are offering breakfast, which I enjoy as well. But it also offers lunch and snacks. So that's one of the strengths that it might have. On the weaknesses, Starbucks pricing is usually higher than usual. A lot of people critiqued it. Some people have even called it $4 instead of Starbucks because you can't spend less than $4 for a cup of coffee. It's reviewed as America's brand that offers no real diversity in its stores around the world. It's criticized for not using more free trade product. And of course, it is heavily dependent on customers' love of coffee. So not a lot of people go in there unless they're coffee lovers. So they're missing opportunities on snacks. So then you move on to the external view. In a SWOT analysis, the first two, the strengths and the weaknesses are going to be a perspective of internally, and then the opportunity and threats will be externally. And they go on to talk about emerging markets. They'll also talk about loyalty club, how to use that a little better, extend supplier networks, get more people who make coffee beans or grow coffee beans. And then, of course, we investigate the threats. Now, the threats usually have to deal with the external environment that the business is in. So one other analysis that might help you with that is what's called the Porter's 5 Forces. And that looks similar to this. Porter really put together a group of items that are pushing your position within that marketplace. So I'm going to give you this as a reference point, but if you Google Porter's 5 Forces, there's a good video out there that explains it well, but it basically breaks it down into these 5 forces that, you know, tells you how profitable you could be in what position you would be in as a company within an industry. Well, that will go back to also some of the threats that we may be faced with in our SWOT analysis. Who's being impacted by this? What issues are going? Maybe there's an issue where, like in this case, there's some saturation in the coffee market. Everyone's providing coffee now. McDonald's, Dunkin' Donuts, your local breakfast stores. Everyone has your gasoline stations. So there might be a threat of oversaturation in the market. So you go on and you kind of look into some of this. So this week's assignment for you in our discussion polls is, after you see this and understand what a SWOT analysis is I would like for you to pick a company, not Starbucks, any company you're well informed of, and create its own SWOT analysis. Or if you were to start a business in your neighborhood, create a SWOT analysis for it and tell me what it's about and what's their strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. All right, that being said, let me just give you a highlight on what's to come. Week number 4 will be up very soon, and that's chapter 7 and 8. And for our discussion that week, we are going to focus on the use of social media to hire someone. So we're going to talk about all those good social media stories about people going on there and looking who's being hired or interviewed during that process. All right, guys, I think that covers it. As always, doors are always open. Coffee's ready to brew. I'm excited to meet some of you guys. Pretty pumped up about getting halfway through now. Next week we'll be halfway through the semester. So don't slow down. Keep it going. We will talk to you all soon. Have a wonderful day. And, hey, take some time and rest at some point. Don't work too hard, guys.